Will combining modern VR gaming with 8-bit retro nostalgia truly bridge the generation gap for all gamers? Well, we're gonna find out in our latest review of Pixel Rip 1989. Let's get started. If this is your first time here at the channel, my name is Tyler and this is my son Blake.
Hey.
And today we're gonna start a new segment on the channel called Generation Gap Gaming Reviews, where we'll review a game from both a retro and modern style gamer's perspective to see if we can find those magical gaming titles that are fun for all generations.
And I got to pick the first game, so of course I chose a VR one, and it's called Pixel Rip 1989.
Pixel Rip 1989 is a multi-dimensional VR game released in July of 2018 and developed by the Brazilian gaming company named Arvory. The creator and original primary developer for the game is Ana Ribeiro, who started developing the game as a student project in 2014, but ultimately teamed up with Arvory in 2017 to help put on the finishing touches.
You take control of a second-grade video game fanatic named Nicola while she's trying to complete her favorite handheld game called Pixel Ripped, which has been overtaken by the evil boss Cyblin Lord, who has stolen the Pixel Stone and is now able to open a portal between the real and gaming worlds.
Nicola is asked to join forces with a pixelated heroine named Dot to help save both worlds from the Cyblin Lord's evil plots, all while trying to play through the game without getting caught by real-world distractions like dive-bombing pigeons and that always-watching teacher.
So Dad and I played this game separately before making this video so we didn't influence each other's opinions.
So when Blake told me we were going to play a VR game that had some retro elements to it, I just assumed it was going to be some open world VR experience to make you feel like you're playing in some classic retro games or something. But I couldn't believe what I saw when I loaded that game on our HTC Vive. The instant immersion into an 80s grid-style virtual world took me completely by surprise. And seeing that giant Gear Kid console coming at me brought back so many great memories I had back in the day playing my original Game Boy. The initial setting of an 80s living room with a wood-paneled TV on the floor was definitely familiar to me, and the fact you're a second grader in 1989 is pretty crazy because I was in second grade that year too. The graphics of the virtual world look pretty clean to me compared to other VR games I've played. It was really fun to look around to find old school gaming console boxes laying around, VHS horror tapes, and to realize your avatar is wearing a power glove. The platforming sections of the game really capture the feel of classic games like Mega Man and Mario. And actually playing a retro handheld game within a VR game is such a unique experience. Now, using the HTC Vive controllers during the platforming levels is quite difficult. I felt like the controls were definitely laggy and wouldn't even register most of the time. And believe me, this game definitely sticks to an NES hard style of platforming, where you have to time your jumps and dashes perfectly. Luckily, I could use an Xbox controller as well, which totally takes care of that problem and helps make this game reach its full potential. Even though the controls are on point with the Xbox controller, still be prepared to die many times before you reach the end of the level, just like the good old days. I do feel some of the levels drag on quite a bit and seem a little repetitive, but overall the platforming sections are very strong. I felt lukewarm about the classroom sections of the game. I found the element of having to hide my Gear Kid from the teacher and still beat the levels interesting at first, but I ultimately got annoyed with having to constantly be checking over my shoulder to see where the teacher was, and the endless spitball launching got pretty monotonous. But I did like the atmosphere of the classroom with little nods to the 80s culture like the Rubik's Cube and those multicolored pens we all had back then. The mixing of the virtual real world and the pixelated world was executed very well in this game. Having to save the kids in the playground from the pigeons with the aid of your Gear Kid was a blast. And the pixelated and brightly colored sprites combined with the real world elements gelled quite nicely. The 80s synth music along with the 8-bit sound effects was perfect to create total immersion into these worlds. And you can definitely tell Ana Ribeiro was a true 80s and early 90s gamer with tons of unexpected retro gaming nods, like Battletoads, Super Mario Land on the Game Boy, and you even have to blow in your cartridges to get them to work properly. Now, I don't want to spoil some of the later stages of the game for you, but there are lots of unexpected Easter eggs from some of your favorite classics you just need to check out yourself. Well, that's enough from me. Let's see what Blake has to say about the game.
I had a great first impression of the game, and the idea of mixing a retro gameplay with the real-world settings like the classroom was pretty cool. The graphics looked great on the HTC Vive, and I thought that the music was fun too. The platforming sections of the game are fun and have good graphics, but I feel that they are too long and have way too many checkpoints to complete. It just seemed really repetitive and I lost interest pretty quick on some of the levels. And I also had issues with the controllers, like being able to use the dash and jump properly. And it really annoyed me that you seem to die with just one hit most of the time, and some of the jumps you had to make are just unfair. I did enjoy it when you actually entered the pixel world, cause it really felt like you were in one of those retro green colored Game Boy games. Firing the spitballs around the classroom to distract the teacher was fun at first, but it got a little boring after a while cause the teacher just started getting on my nerves after a few minutes. But I guess that may have been the developer's intention. I mean, I do feel that this game bridges the gap, and it can be played by any gamer. But like I said before, the repetitive nature isn't going to keep my attention for long, and I don't get a lot of the 80s and retro gaming references in the game like Dad talked about earlier.
I get where Blake's coming from with the repetitiveness and the frustrating platforming, but for whatever reason, my generation seemed to thrive on that style of gaming. And yeah, all the pop culture references and nods to some of my favorite retro games would be tough for younger generations to truly appreciate. So does Pixel Rip 1989 truly bridge the generation gap? Yes, it does. I am glad that Blake found this game for us to play, and I was really surprised we had similar thoughts about the game overall, and I think that's pretty cool. Again, I think Pixel Rip 1989 is a great game, and definitely worth any gamer's time if you're trying to find a fun VR game with an actual plot and real gameplay. And it's available on multiple VR platforms like the HTC Vive, PSVR, and Oculus Rift for around $25. Let us know in the comments if you like this new review segment of the show, and make sure to give this video a like and share with your friends as well.
And we want to give a special shout out to Justin Garza, who was the first person to find the Mullet Boy in our last Goonies 2 Secrets in History video. And an honorable mention shout out to Southern Fried Media, who found the Mullet Boy just a few moments later. Hope you two had fun finding him.
And if you're new to the channel and love gaming from all generations like we do here at G3, then consider hitting that subscribe button and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss anything. Till next time, guys. G3 out. Hey look, you made it to the end of the video. I've had a few people ask if there was any way we could support the channel, and I wanted to let you know we do have a Patreon account that you can access with the link here at the top of the screen, or the one I'll put in the description. I don't like talking about this kind of stuff, and no one's obligated, but I'm just giving you the option if you're interested, and all proceeds will always go back into bringing you better content here at G3. Have a good one, guys, and thanks for watching.